Hey guys, today we're going to talk about probably the most important video on my channel to date. We're going to talk about the August 8th regulations. Basically, it's going to change the whole landscape in the US of vaping culture, the vaping scene. On May 5th of 2016, the FDA passed their deeming regulations, which they published a PDF that's roughly 500 pages long. About 150 of it is actually regulations, and the rest is answering questions, which close up pretty much all the loopholes. So, important things that are going to be occurring. First, after August 8th, I will no longer be able to assist in building coils for rebuildable atomizers. That includes just re-wicking, burning off, putting in new coils. Second, I cannot fix a broken device or troubleshoot it. So, say you drop your mod and you broke a solder joint or a wire came disconnected. I'm not allowed to fix that. Can't make box mods or anything like that either, even though I don't really do that anyway, because that would label me as a tobacco manufacturer. I am not a tobacco manufacturer, and the fine for being a unlicensed tobacco manufacturer is somewhere in the range of about $5,000 and a maximum jail time of I think 5 years. So I'm not going to do that. Next, there's no more free juice. That goes for sampling. So we have a sample tester bar or whatever. When you come into the store, we have our flavor menus and everything, and you tell me a flavor you'd like to try. I grab the tank, put it on a mod, let you try it. After August 8th, you're going to have to pay a certain fee. We haven't come up with what that fee will be. Most shops I've been talking with have said it's going to be, like $1 or something. But you'll have to prepay, so you have to pay in advance. So know that you can't just go into a store, try some juice, and plan to come back another day. You're going to have at least $1 on you, or whatever that shop's fee is. Next. And this is one that really bugs me. We can no longer discuss the health benefits of vaping versus traditional tobacco cigarettes, or compare the products as a whole, or say that vapor products are completely tobacco-free or tobacco-free. Here's the thing. You can buy Zero Nic e-liquid, and it has no nicotine in it even, and the nicotine itself does not determine that something is a tobacco product. And let me reiterate that there's nicotine found in multiple fruits and vegetables. Tomatoes have nicotine, eggplants have nicotine. It's a natural pesticide. It keeps bugs from eating their plants, and the tobacco plant has evolved to have a high level of nicotine so that it could survive against things like tobacco beetles and such. So the nicotine itself does not make it a tobacco product. It doesn't make it a tobacco plant. If we really wanted to, we could extract nicotine from tomatoes and have enough nicotine to actually make the nicotine concentrates that go into your e-liquid, which is why this bugs me. There are some juices out there that use net extraction techniques, which is an emulsion process where they take tobacco leaves and they use an emulsification process to extract the nicotine and the tobacco flavor from those leaves, but they are normally stated as being a net extraction technique. Also cannot say that, say a customer asks, hey, I'm a pack-a-day smoker, what nicotine do you think I should try? Can't really give you an answer because I can't compare the two. I can't say most pack-a-day smokers get this nicotine level, because then I would be comparing our e-cigarette product or vapor product to a traditional tobacco product. So that bugs me a lot. So basically, we're going to have 2 years after this time frame to comply by processing PMTAs. The way the PMTAs work is we fill out an application process for each product we carry. For e-liquid, that counts for each flavor and each flavor and its nicotine levels. Most manufacturers have a standard 5 nicotine levels. Some have more, some have less. So you're looking at a separate application process for each nicotine level of each flavor. Our company has over 300 flavors. And we offer adjustable nicotine levels. We do everything from 0 to 24. So we're going to have to curb that after this 2-year mark. And the issue is it's unreasonable. No one's going to be able to afford this amount. And the bigger thing is, even if everybody could afford this amount, the FDA is not set up to handle that amount. There's thousands of vape shops in this country, and I would assume thousands of them make their own house juice. So if everybody even had the money, which we are being told it's going to be somewhere around $300,000 to $1 million per application process, and you're not guaranteed for it to pass. So a lot of people aren't going to take that gamble anyways. But we're being told if everybody even wanted to comply and pass all their PMTAs, you would have over 10,000 vape shops, thousands of which make their own house juice, sending in thousands of samples to be tested. I mean, once you start doing the math, you would need a government agency larger than the IRS, larger than, well, any government agency that currently exists, to be able to test all these flavors and approve them within the 2-year time frame. And they know that. And the reason they know that, and the reason they know they won't be flooded by that, is because of that high price. If every vape shop owner was, a multi-millionaire and could afford to do it, I mean, our shop, you're looking over $1 billion easy just in flavorings. So that's not possible in any way. But what's the point? I mean, you would take all this money from these brick and mortars, these small businesses that they use, that help spur the economy, and instead you're just going to give it to the government. What these are set up to do is help big tobacco and help big pharmaceutical. Reasons being, vaping is more efficient at helping people quit smoking than any pharmaceutical or cold turkey. Chantix, lower rate. The patch, lower rate. Nicotine gum still has a lower rate. Cold turkey, I read a study the other day showing that it has a 4% success rate. And in that same study, it said that people who try vaping and use their vaporizer at least 20 times a day, say they're a pack-a-day smoker, that would make sense, have a 70% success rate at quitting traditional analog cigarettes. Chantix has somewhere around a 30% success rate long term, but also comes with fun side effects like suicidal tendencies, nightmares, and other psychological effects. Other long-term issues are Big Pharma really wants big tobacco to still exist. You think that's kind of a conflict in interest, but the reality is, without things like big tobacco, where the FDA has regulated a product known to give cancer and cause heart disease, big pharmaceutical doesn't have customers. Those customers are important for a number of economic reasons in this country, which I think is a flawed system. States are taking borrowed money based off of sin taxes that they expect to accrue throughout the financial fiscal year. So you've got states like California that are borrowing money from the government, assuming that they will take in a certain amount based on previous year's sin tax. However, vaping's popularity has grown so exponentially, they couldn't account for the loss in tax revenue. So California is going negative, and the only way that they can figure out how to fix it is to regulate vaping products to get their hand back in the honeypot, essentially. We're not opposed, as a general community, to some sort of slight tax. I mean, most people are opposed to a tax, but a tax would be a settlement. It would make sense. It would be the same thing that other things are taxed. I mean, you've got liquor, you've got tobacco tax. If there was a vaping tax, sure. The issue is they're saying we're a tobacco product. They haven't applied a tobacco tax. States individually have been applying tobacco taxes, such as Pennsylvania, which just passed a 40% wholesale tax, which I had seen 160 some shops closed up overnight because they passed this 40% wholesale tax, and then a few days after they passed that, amended it so that the wholesale actually covered current stock in stores. Your average vape shop is going to have almost $100,000, if not more than $100,000 in stock at any given time. If you demand 40% wholesale tax off of those purchases, that's a ridiculous amount of money to be hit with all at once and to be required to be paid all at once. It frustrates me. We do have some people on our side, and that is good. SFATA, CASA, NotBlowingSmoke.org, August8th.org is going to have more information on these rules and regulations. The Vaping Militia, they fight for your vaping right. All these advocacy groups are out there trying to help stop this. There's multiple lawsuits going through. They haven't had any hearings or anything yet, but they've been filed and they're being processed. Senator Ron Johnson from Wisconsin, who's head of Homeland Security Commission, has issued statements to the head of the FDA demanding he reply so that he knows why they want to regulate something where they have no rules for how to regulate it. Basically, the FDA said they wanted to regulate it, but gave us as consumers and business owners and business managers, employees, no reason as to how they were going to regulate it. There's no definition of what's going to pass. They have no safety standards in terms of this liquid will pass, this liquid won't. So all these companies, even if they want to submit and send in their samples, they have no idea what a clean sample is, what a dirty sample is. So it's going to be one of those we're not sure how the FDA thinks they have the right to regulate us based on the fact that they don't even know what they're regulating. I mean, you're looking at, they have no system set up for, even if all these hundreds and thousands of companies wanted to submit samples, they have no way of testing them. They currently, on their government hire page, are hiring chemists, which would institute that they're going to hire people to try and figure out how they can determine what is a safe sample and what is not a safe sample. But we don't know that currently, and Ron Johnson had stated he wanted the FDA to take a look on what it would do to small businesses. His first letter received 0 response, so subsequently he sent a second letter, and it hasn't been revealed if he ever received a response about that second letter. So we're all sitting here patiently waiting, trying to see if, the guy who's in charge of Homeland Security, the person who regulates regulatory committees in the United States, is even going to get an answer from the head of the FDA. So that's pretty much what's going to go on after August 8th. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me before the deadline because, well, I can't discuss a lot of it afterwards. But send me a message. Let me know what you're worried about, what you're thinking about. I'm not an expert on it. I'm just, to the best of my knowledge, what I know is what I'm telling you. And if there's a couple errors in there, feel free to point them out. I will edit it and make a notation about it. But everyone, this is going to be a tough time for a while, and I hope everyone's prepared to fight against it. And hopefully, we'll be able to get through it and get vaping back to where it should be, where innovation continues, where even outside companies, companies in China and other foreign areas aren't going to import to us because they don't want to pay that exponential FDA regulation fee. But anyways, that's all for now. Everybody have a good day, and look up some of the links I put in the description, and keep on vaping.